After the Blue Bulls Currie Cup campaign ended in 2005, the side bade farewell to influential leader Anton Leonard. Victor Matfield was now the sole Blue Bulls captain and was grateful for the influence of his scrum half in leading the backline.
I really saw us as co-captains. I haven't won one trophy as captain where I didn't get Fourie up with me to lift the trophy with me, because there was no chance I could ever done it without him. And we had such a good working relationship. We were great mates as well. We sat and talked rugby for hours.
Our relationship in that and in the decision-making in the team was sort of just went from strength to strength, and luckily we could have that relationship right until the end. We both played our last game for the Boks.
You get a lot of guys that play rugby and they train like Tarzan and play like Jane. And Fourie was actually a guy that trained like Tarzan, and then he came to game day and he was actually his own beast, and he will just go to the next level. A lot of people might describe Fourie as an introvert, a shy guy that doesn't speak a lot, but he actually developed into an absolutely phenomenal leader.
He doesn't have to say much, and he never said much in the beginning. I don't think he started out saying, do this and that differently. He was showing it on the field with his ability plus his tactical ability in terms of understanding the game.
During this period of continuous Currie Cup success, Loftus was the place to be.
When I started at the Bulls, we probably struggled to get 5,000 to 10,000 people in, and during that stage it just grew every year exponentially, and obviously people like a winning team, and we were winning at that stage, but we were also playing some proper rugby as well.
It was a special era. It was fantastic to be with the Bulls because everyone had such a great atmosphere. Loftus was full almost every weekend.
It's really called Fortress Loftus for that reason. It's difficult to play at Loftus away, so we really cherished the home games, the big games there, because the crowd kind of gives you another 30–40% boost. You know, when it goes bad, and the stadiums are empty. When it goes good, they support you well. So we had that era for long, so we were riding that wave.
It was only Super Rugby glory that still eluded the men in blue.
Looking back when we started, when Anneke Meyer arrived, that whole era, building up to, Currie Cup wins, 4-5 Currie Cups in that era. Then we had semi-finals, 2005, 2006 in the Super Rugby. So we were really knocking on the door for a long time before the victory in 2007.
It started off actually with a build-up. I remember we came back from tour and we had to win 7 games in a row just to be in the playoffs. So we did that. Then we came to the last game just before the playoffs, and I remember Heineke coming in. We had to look at the morning's games, and if we had just won the game, we would have played the Sharks away in South Africa. If we won with a bonus point, we'd have to fly to New Zealand to play the Crusaders.
We had to beat the Reds by, I think, 70-odd points. And Heineke said to me before, guys, listen, why don't we go for the 70 points difference and secure a home semi?
And I thought, Heineke was crazy. How the hell? And then we went into our team room where we all have our meetings. We had a chat, and the guys went out and we believed, listen, we can do that.
It bounces perfectly. It's try number 13 for the Bulls. A memorable night for anybody who's been here and anybody who's watching. 90 points it is.
So now Crusaders were packing up 3 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden they're getting on a flight the next day. So they're flying to here to travel to Loftus, where we've had a streak of wins and a high confidence. So the chances of him really upsetting us then was very slim. And we knew it. I think they knew it.
Take me back to the Super Rugby final at Kings Park.
Yeah, the 2007 final wasn't my best individual game. I had a bit of a shoulder issue, which I picked up in the previous weeks, and it was sort of a very close game until they scored with a minute to go.
Albert van der Berg has surely sealed it here for the home team.
I remember I just said to them, if he misses this ball, we're going to get it back and we're going to score. And as it happened, he missed the kick, France, and yeah, somehow we got back the ball.
For 72 minutes, we weren't really in that game, but because we had that belief and we were together for so long, and we knew exactly what to do. We knew that we could keep the ball for 7-10 minutes because that's exactly how Heineke drilled us.
Now here goes Adams once again, wide for Habana, gets past one, gets to another. This could be it. This is it. Habana has scored. And the Bulls pulled us out of the fire.
They helped us as well by kicking away the ball twice. But I think it's just that belief, and the belief we had throughout the year that went into that game. When we got that last chance, we just kept the ball, and Brian did wonderfully, and we scored that try.
And the champions for 2007 of the Super 14, the Vodacom Bulls.
The unbelievable has been done. No one has ever thought the Bulls can win a Super Rugby. We were always the team that were last on the lock, and here we go, and we won Super Rugby. And we stayed on the field, and then just in the change room, and it was just such a special evening.
Starting at the bottom, not winning one Super Rugby game to became six, then we made 2 semis, and then we won it. So it was sort of a building phase from right from the bottom right up to sort of winning it, and a lot of it winning the World Cup.
A Super Rugby trophy, a fitting send-off for Heineke Meyer, who had taken Bulls rugby from the gutter to the stratosphere.
You know, he started a lot of belief at the Bulls, took the Bulls from nowhere into first Currie Cup champions 2002, winning Super Rugby in 2007. Fantastic people in the management that bought into Heineke's dream and into the Bulls' dream, and then unbelievable players. It was a lot more than just players and coaches and people working. It was a real family. We believed it and we embraced it. And I think the most important thing is, up to today, we've got respect for each other.
The man to step into the hot seat was former Lions mentor Frans Ludeker.
After Heineke left in 2007 and Frans Ludeker came in, I think we changed a little bit. I think Fourie and myself had a lot of say. We were in the boardroom with Frans Ludeker, just the three of us talking about the game, and we actually developed the game after that even further, and Fourie had a huge influence. He probably had the biggest influence over that, as to we can't play this old style of rugby, just putting in the corners, just beating guys physically. So we started putting width on our game, started playing options of 9 and 10, and it's very difficult to do that at 9, but with a guy like Fourie there, we could play a style that no one else could play, and no one else knew what we did.
After a struggling start to the Ludeker era in 2008, the Bulls and Fourie enjoyed incredible success the following year.
2009, your last Currie Cup final. What are your memories of that last final?
Yes, 2009 was probably my best year of rugby and best year of rugby, of Bulls rugby, I think, ever. And the Springboks only came back 2 weeks before the playoffs, so we didn't take part in that many games. But yeah, we had a semi-final against Stormers, against Western Province in Cape Town. Morné Stam kicked an unbelievable penalty for us to get to the final, and then we knew we played the Cheetahs at home. Sort of myself, the opportunity to play in another Currie Cup final, and obviously the last time I played didn't go that well. So yeah, it was an opportunity for me, and at that stage I thought I was really on top of my game, so a lot of confidence. And but I took the lessons from 2005 as well into that game, and everything just went well.
There it is, Fourie du Preez, rather aptly in fact, is the man who puts it into touch, because he set the Bulls on their way.
Take us to the 2009 final against the Chiefs. I mean, in your wildest dreams, could you believe that you could thrash them so badly?
Yeah, and that was probably one of my favourite games of all time. I also remember before that game just thinking, in the history of Bulls rugby, this is probably the biggest game that Loftus will ever have, having a home Super Rugby final.
Before the home game, I would always go and pick him up, and we would drive to the stadium together. And there were this look in his eyes before semis and finals, and I specifically remember that day when we drove here. I said, "So, are you going to be man of the match today?" And he said, that look on his face, he just said, "Maybe we'll see."
Oh, and away goes Masana! What a start for the Chiefs at Loftus.
The Chiefs scored early, but behind those poles, it was just, okay, they've scored a try, but we just want to go. We're going to score a few more tries.
And Fourie du Preez takes it quickly.
That quick tap wasn't part of the game plan. It was just something that happened, and he saw the opportunity and he scored. He ran past two of the biggest Chiefs defenders.
Then about 2 or 3 minutes later, Wynand Olivier made a big tackle on the Melmanch. He lost the ball, Morna picked it up, and he gave it to me on the halfway, and I sort of raced to the corner.
And away goes Fourie du Preez. It's a race for the line. Du Preez against Muliaina. And Du Preez has try number 2.
All of a sudden, from 7-0 down, we were up 14-7. And I really believe that moments like that sparked this team.
And the final kick will be taken. What an extraordinary performance from the 8-try Bulls team here at Loftus this evening. An absolute drubbing.
That's one of my greatest memories here at the Bulls in terms of the team. I think that is the closest we ever got to the perfect game. 61-17 was one of the greatest games, I believe, in the history of Bulls rugby. And, one in which Fourie played a massive part in.
It was just amazing game. And it was just one of those crazy games where everything just went our way, and we just played unbelievable rugby.
2009 and 2010 was probably the best team I've ever played with that Bulls team. We were so fortunate to probably have 2, 3, 4 players that would walk into a world team, and Fourie was one of them. Didn't matter who we played, where we played them, we just believed if we play well, we will win the game. So, yeah, that was a very special team.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup saw the Bulls unable to take advantage of Fortress Loftus during the playoffs. But what followed was truly a landmark moment in South African rugby.
When we heard about we had to move to Orlando, there were so many people that were negative about it, but we said, and Fourie again was one of the first guys that said, listen, this is going to be special. Let's go do something special at Orlando. Let's do something for our country. I think those 2 weeks in Orlando was just probably my most special moment in rugby my whole career.
Both weeks were pretty much my 2 favorite weeks of rugby ever. Just something unexpected, and just something that was so great for our country and so great for us. And first of all, that semi-final against the Crusaders, which was one of the better Crusaders sides that's been there.
Du Preez, a little space for him. Can he go all the way? Unbelievable!
The next week to play against the Stormers, who were on fantastic form that whole year. I think they were the 2 best teams in the competition, the Bulls and the Stormers. And starting that game, I still remember the noise, the vuvuzelas. Again, a big game, very tight. We were 9-0 up pretty quickly with 3 penalties from Mornay. And then a bit of broken play and a rack on the 15-metre line. We were going to go one more phase, same way, and Fourie went against the grain.
Du Preez, how far ran perfectly. What's on now? He's level. Joe Peterson put in. How good was that?
Fourie again had this unbelievable ability to put somebody through the gap, and that special pass of him to Francois Hougaard going through that gap, and Hougaard going around Joe Peterson and scoring under the poles, put us up 16-0 in a final. Again, one moment of brilliance from him changed the game.
The celebrations in Orlando would be the last silverware Du Preez would lift during his career in blue, as he left Loftus for Japan's Suntory Sunglass at the end of the following season. He had left an indelible mark on Bulls rugby.
I think he probably didn't get not as much recognition, but there wasn't always a big fuss made of him because he's not a big fuss person. It's for him just important that what he did it his very best. In rugby-wise, and family-wise, he's the same. Friend-wise, he's the same. He's just a very solid person.
The best way to describe Fourie du Preez, and I can think on top of my head, I can probably think about 5 players that the coaches describe them as a genius, and Fourie du Preez was one of those guys. He was a rugby genius.
I think the big thing about Fourie is the big games. That's the games where he really came through and where he made a difference. And most of his big games were man of the match performances. Fourie was always an integral part of Bulls rugby, and he was always around. It seems like he's been there forever.
any rugby player wants to be part of something bigger, wants to be part of a successful organisation, something that he believes in. And I think we, like I said, we started at the bottom and we fought it out right until the top.
The end of a special era for the Bulls, who have since struggled to replicate this success. Next week in our final instalment, from the elation of being crowned World Cup champions in Paris to despair in Wellington 4 years later and the honour of captaincy at the 2015 World Cup, we experience the highs and lows of Fourie du Preez in the green and gold of the Springboks.